Yo, 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 what is good? Welcome back to another video of uh, of me talking about the extension of the shit show model. This so-called extension is basically the same model, but in more of a conservative way. A lot of you guys have been wondering, how do I take advantage of the POIs that we have as targets, meaning left out shit show levels? How do I take advantage of understanding where price is moving? This will be sort of explained in this video. The LSS model is a part of the shit show model, but it's more focused on taking the longer moves, the longer setups. You will understand where we're targeting with the longer move and what we're targeting with the longer move. You will not take as many trades as a normal shit show trader does, but you will take longer moves. You wait for that one setup or two or three setups, and then you're done. While a shit show trader might have 60 setups in a day, you might have 4 or 5, right? But these longer moves have a huge hit rate, and if done correctly, of course, and they also have an extremely good R trade. So I'll give you just a second watching this screen here. And I want you to note out the very specific shit show levels. The shit show levels that are on this chart. Note out everything you see. Everything you see is what you should note out. Okay? And I'll give you just a 5 second to pause the video and just look through it. Don't skip it. Don't be a dumbass. Look through it, watch it, recognize where they're at, and be honest with yourself if you can't get that. Right, I'm assuming you're done now. So these are the 3 shit show levels you have to note out first. I will jump into the one that you're all I can almost promise you, some of you people, you're already saying, "Oh, you missed that one. You missed that one." No, I haven't missed shit. You're just not being patient right now. We're gonna look at these 3 first. As we see the market moving up, what is happening? While the market is moving to the upside, it's creating new shit show levels that are not being swept. Why is that happening? Very simple. The reason why this is happening is because it wants to move down after we have moved up. It wants to move down. You know, I've been talking about creating this story for so long. And creating this story, if we leave out shit show levels, doesn't that mean that that in itself is telling us a story that we want to move up? Isn't that telling us the story that we're moving up to move down? Because if price was basically efficient, it would have looked like something like this. Where that is a number 2, that is a 1, that's a 3, that's a 4 and 5. Sweeping that shit show level, we don't have to move back down here again. And then it takes out that high continuous high. We don't have to go back down here again. Right? But in these cases, it literally leaves it. It leaves it because it wants to go there later on. So if this happens, it tells you the story that we're just going to take long setups over in the bigger perspective. But if it leaves the shit show levels, that means we're looking for longs, but be careful because we might flip around to go the opposing way any second. Okay, good. So Jay, how do we understand when we're turning around? There's 2 different ways. We can either have a full sequence just like this, where the 4 and 5 runs up into what? Number 1 high. If you don't understand this, go back and watch the videos, okay? We're running back up into here, bouncing around in here, and then goes lower. That's the first thing. That this might happen, right? And whenever we run this low, right, we're looking for the new sequence to play out over here somewhere. Um, that's the first thing that might happen. There's a second thing that I am using specifically when I'm trading the LSS model. We know that the number 2 from the 15-second chart is the strongest point to take a long setup from. It's the highest probability. Number 3 is not as high probability to take out that 2, as you can see here, right? Because we don't know if price wants to be efficient immediately or if it wants to go higher to then just plummet down and take out all these levels. We don't know that. So what this basically means is that the number 2 in this case is the strongest point where you can take a long setup from. So you're taking a long setup from here to take out that high, right? So what happens if this number 2 fails to take out that high? What happens? I've talked about then it's not a shit show level. No. But it also tells us a story in which what does that mean? If the strongest long setup is failing to take out that high, number one, you can say we have a double top, we can have a market structure shift or whatever. Well, it's a market structure shift here as well. So the people took a short here, they're getting shredded. Stop is here, their stop is gone. Their stop is gone. Their stop is gone, right? So, but understanding that this is happening as soon as we tap into the last shit show level to the upside, and we have insufficient price in the sequence here. Meaning there's a bunch of shit show levels left out on what? The left side of the chart. That is our targets. If you take a short from here, you should be targeting that, that, and that. If you take a long here, you're a dumbass because we don't have any more shit show levels on the upside. So price will tell you in two different ways, right? This is the one way to do it, right? Bouncing up into the one, we're now bearish where? Here. So now we're looking for that move to the downside. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is watch the 15-second chart. If you're confident that this is the last shit show level on the upside and we have insufficient price on the downside, you want to see a number 2 that is failing to run higher. If that ever happens when we're running the last shit show level on the upside, which 99% of the time it happens, if it doesn't happen, you're just wrong, by the way. Whenever we fail to run this high, we're now watching price move down lower. I want you now to stop, and I will stop talking. And I want you to see two different ways of taking a short out of this area. Just use your imagination. There's one aggressive way of taking a short, and there's one very or less aggressive way of taking a short. How about it? Um, so now that you had paused the video and watched it, I give you the second chance. Pause it, look through it. You will not learn by just simply watching the video. You have to be active. Activate your brain. Start to think. Hopefully you paused the video. This is what you should have had on the screen. You can take an aggressive way of a short from this point. You can also take a less aggressive way of taking a short from this point. Now you might see the ISS thing here and you're like, what in the world is this? Not some complicated shit. No, it's not complicated. Because if you watch price in here, what do you see? Well, it's a shit show level that runs lower. This is just on a smaller time frame. And the reason why this is more aggressive is because you are anticipating price. That's not usually something we do. You don't want to guess where the price is going. If there is somewhat of a guess in there, you shouldn't be taking that trade. But in this case, we're overly confident in this short and we're willing to take a stop out early if we are incorrect. This is a very aggressive trade to run down lower. This usually leads to a huge R trade to run down into this low. But this also means that we are now anticipating, since we ran the last shit show level on the upside, we're anticipating price to move lower into these shit show levels on the downside. And as you might understand, use it as a ladder. This is very likely to be taken out, less likely, and less likely, more or lesser likelihood than that, and this one than that, and you know the drill. But this is an inside shit show level. I call it the inside shit show level. Why? Because it's not actually part of structure. It's inside inside structure, inside shit show level. Probably on the 5-second chart, 1-second chart, whatever it might be. These are not to be used as POIs. These are more like taking a short from here means specifically that we're trading now probably the 5-second chart to run down lower. We're not targeting that as we target the other shit show levels from the 15-second chart, right? Whenever this happens, we take a short from here to run down lower. But if you want to be more confident, you wait for a number one. You wait for a failed 2. How do we know it's a failed 2? If we fail to run that high, just move lower. The next thing that needs to happen is you needed to create a sequence to take this short to the downside. You're not randomly taking a short from here. That's dumb. You're waiting for that number 2 to take out that low. So first a failed 2, and then a successful 2 in the way you want price to move. This is the essential behind the LSS model. In the smaller, or the original shit show model, you take longs from here, you take shorts from here, you take you take all these small moves in here, understanding that we're moving towards this area, meaning that all the sequences in here, all of these sequences are more bullish aimed rather than bearish aimed. So it might not be so smart to take a number 3, or sorry, take a number 3 up here to run out this shit show level. Why? Why is that not smart? Because we have our targets on the upside. And the LSS model trader understands that. And you know what he does? He waits. He waits for that high to be taken. When it is taken, that is his first idea. Now I want this to happen. It happens, you take the short, and you run all the way down into here. We run down into here, guess what happens? We have this shit show left out here. So what happens? Move down here, move up here, move down here. We move up above this high. This becomes a failed shit show level. We move up, we move down, take out that. That's a number 2 to run into the other shit show level that is up here. You have now a long here. So you're sitting short from here down to here. You're sitting long from here up to here. You're taking every huge swing move in the market using the 15-second chart and the 1-minute chart. That's the difference. Now, I personally don't use the LSS model as much. Reason being, I would rather take higher risk trades up to here and be done with the day. Higher risk trade from here up to here. But I do take advantage of the LSS model, understanding exactly where we will stop at price. And for all of you guys saying, oh, this is just market structure shift and a double top and move here and imbalance and this and that. No. Everything is the same freaking shit in different words, right? MSS, right? Oh, that's just a flip on the 1 minute chart to move lower. Sure, have at it. Well, take that short from here then. You're screwed. Take that short from here then. You're screwed. Take that short from here then. You're screwed. You have to understand where we are heading. And how do you understand where we are heading? Not efficient sequences from the left side of the chart. That is your POI. That is your target. It should be your target, and you take advantage of that. And I've seen countless of people now understanding how strong the POIs are and are amazed about it. You can take your current model that you currently have, whatever it might be, and you can just add these shit show levels to that, and you will see how extremely efficient it will become, because you know exactly where we are moving if you have done this correctly. So if you are very confident in taking a trade, you can take it from the ISS levels, the 5-second shit show levels. You can take it from here if you're very confident that you are going to move lower. But you have to understand that it's a higher likelihood that it will work if it moves down to here, moves below this low, flips, comes up in here, takes out that high, and shoots back down lower because we're running into these lows here. This is a higher likelihood, less aggressive trade, very aggressive trade, huge R, less R. Okay? So the LSS model is very, very simple. And to be honest with you, I want everyone to understand how the LSS model works. And the reason being is because you will understand and be more focused, leaning towards your targets, points of interest. This is a target. And if you add the targets and are more focused, leaning toward the target on the original shit show levels, right? Shit show models, my bad. That just means that you know exactly that this long can now no longer, doesn't have to be up here. It can be a target up to here. So you can see it on a long from here up to here instead of taking it up to here. You will also understand that it's pretty dumb to take a 3 down to here when we have the target up here. It's pretty dumb. And the LSS model traders will be waiting for that to be taken. Again, this model fits more towards the people that have a job. They basically put in, this is a notation level up here. I just have a notification up here, and I have a notification down here. We run this high, notification pops, bling. Okay, now I look for this. It happens, you take that short, it moves down into this area. Notification, ding, you're taken out of your trade down here. You look for the same thing that happened up here, down here, toward the upside, toward running that high. So again, if price is very, very efficient, that will tell you the story that we're not looking to move down there again. But if this SS is left out here, then you will understand that price will most likely be coming back up to take out that high when we have ran what? All the shit show levels on the downside. So Jay, how does that work? Well, it basically means that if price is very, very efficient, right? If price is very, very efficient and we run the shit show level up here, and then this happens, and then, yeah, we do this. Does price have to move back down in here or here? No, it does not. It just has to run this shit show level. So what do we have? Failed SS. And suddenly you have what? On the what? Higher time frame, right? So this basically means that I believe my idea is that the price moves in swings based on that price is efficient or insufficient. So when price is very insufficient, it means that there's shit show levels left out on both sides of the market. It means that it's left out all the way down here, and it's left out all the way up here, in the same way it's left out all the way down here. But at some point, price has to become efficient, and when it becomes efficient, if it's efficient from down from up here, then we're just gonna plummet down to the downside until we start creating shit show levels on the upside. Then price will look to take out those highs and go lower. This is simply my way of seeing price, guys. This is very, very simplistic, and you don't have to overcomplicate things, right? But this is what the market looks like. And I see it in sequence. It tells me a story. If a shit show level is not ran immediately after it's being created, price is insufficient, doesn't mean it has to go down there right now because it currently has another target up here. Whenever we run that target, we will kill these levels before we start moving higher again. And the LSS trader will be taking a short from here, a long from here, a long from here. And you'll be sitting long toward this area, short to this area, long to this area, short to this area. You always have this balance and you're super focused toward the specific targets of price. That's it. It's nothing very super specific. It's longer moves. You can sit there and wait for 2 hours, but your targets will most likely be filled. And you have a 20R, 30R. As you can see here, this is a screenshot back in September '08, so meaning the 8th of September is when this was taken advantage of. It's been here all this time, right? I've just explained it. And as you can see, we have this failed SS. Don't take a long. We have a SS below that we might want to take. So you don't take a long here. You LSS traders, you don't take a long here. You could take a couple of longs, just get 40 points or whatever. But here comes the failed SS. That's the target. Here is your trade to the downside. So you are very focused around taking trades toward the left out shit show levels. You will need to know exactly where we are moving, And this was one of my problems. I didn't know how to get into price, even though I knew exactly what my targets were. I didn't know how to get into price to take advantage of my understanding and knowledge of the market. And that's when this was born. It's created based around me being annoyed by understanding where we are heading. I know some of you guys know exactly where you can see it. Say, like, this is the target, we're going here, we're moving from this point to this point to this point to this point. This is the problem I had as well. I had the understanding of where we were moving, but I didn't understand how we were going to move there. That's when this was born. Okay? So I want you to understand that you have to wait for price to do what it needs to do. This will make you practice your patience in waiting for a setup, your patience in reading price saying, this is where I want to take a trade, and you just wait for that. I had a huge problem with waiting for my setups. So what did I do? I created a system where I have to wait. So I had to learn how to wait for a setup. And now today, guess what? This has helped me to understand that if I just wait for what I want to see rather than just take everything because something happens, that made me extremely profitable as well. That's a huge part in the success story. Being able to sit there and just say, I know it's going to bounce from this point to go higher, but if I don't see that it moves from this point, then I'm not willing to be in that trade. It moves down to the point I would looked into, is a and it bounces right off of it, and it goes 100 points up, and I don't give a shit because I am watching for a specific other area where I want to take a trade from. So if price moves down to this level, as you as a LSS model trader, and it starts to go up from here, you shouldn't care because you want to see price moving back down to here and then go higher if that is your pre-market game plan. That's your game plan of your trade. If your game plan is to take a trade from here to go here, why in the world would you sit and take a trade from here? A lot of you guys are saying, well, why didn't this work? Why didn't this work? Why didn't this trade work? Well, it's very simple, buddy. You are not looking at, I want to see this happen. If this happens, I want to see this happens. And if that does not happen, guess what? I'm not in that trade, buddy. I don't care. I don't care if it goes 100, 2,000, but I don't care. I have an idea of what I want price to do. If that does not happen, why in the world would I sit there take a trade? It's not mine to take. Dave might be taking that. Dave can take everything, right? And you're like, I want to take everything as he is. No, no, no. But he started with understanding one thing and one thing only. And he traded that. He waited for that patiently. Patiently is the key word. If that did not appear, guess what? He didn't have a trade. And you're sitting here watching the market saying it's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. And you're like, I don't get a single trade. Great. Great. I don't give a shit if you get a single trade or not. If your idea does not appear on the chart, it's not yours to take. If you LSS model traders are taking a long from here to go higher, you're a dumbass because you're watching price from down here. If it goes up, sure, let it go. It's not yours to take anyways. And then we're going up here. You're like, oh, now we're most likely going here. So it goes down to here. Guess what happens? You get killed because now price is going to drop all the way down into your actual target. You guys already know this has happened to you 100,000 times, where your previous target is now being the area targeted, and then it shoots up, not 100 points, 1,000 points from your entry, right? Because you're now what? You're impatient. You want to take everything. You're like shifting your perspective all the time because you just want in. You're like a drug addict. You want into price. You want to see wealth. You want to see money. Stop doing that. Don't be a boy. Be a man. Man up. Say, this is what I want to see. And then you execute what you want to see when it appears in front of you. If it does not appear in front of you, there's nothing to execute, meaning that you just made yourself a great, great favor. You're now currently working on your psychology. And that very decision right there, not taking a trade that is not your idea, that will be such a great experience. And you should celebrate that. That is what you should celebrate. You shouldn't celebrate if you make money or not. You should celebrate if you're able to stick to the plan. And I can't emphasize that enough. Stop taking dumb trades. This was all for the LSS model. It's very simple. Your very point of interest, targeted, specific, looking into that. You SS model traders, the original SS model, right? If you're taking a short from here, you can also take advantage of a longer move as well. That's usually what I can do at times, and I let that go a bit early because of a huge leverage instead, or a bigger position to take it down to here instead of taking it all the way down here. Um, but in this case, right, you have to follow the points of interest in price. If you don't get your entry, man, you don't get your entry. That's it. But with this model, you will predict the market open, the close, the here and there and here and there. And I have 100, if not thousands, of screenshots of me predicting the open and the close and the low and the high of each and every session, of every single candle, of this and that, just by taking advantage of the LSS model. If you have any questions, make sure to send me something in Twitter, and I'll make sure to answer them as fast as I can. If anything else, make sure to share it with your dog, your neighbor, whatever. I really believe in helping others. That's why I'm doing this. You don't see a blue check mark on me. You don't see nothing. I'm just sharing my work for free on a social platform. Uh, so I'd love to connect with you. Um, yeah. Other than that, bless up. Take care.